Today we're going to do another highly requested video, and it's the story of Michael and I. Everything about the way Michael and I met and how we started dating is very unconventional. I think you guys will agree. And I thought that I had like a huge secret in the beginning of us talking. Well, you'll see if I did or not.
Let's start with how we met.
We met on Tinder, as a lot of young relationships do these days.
I feel like literally almost all of them. So there I was swiping, and I come across our Amanda here. And she was just as beautiful as ever in all of her pictures. And then I took the time to read her bio, which I don't remember verbatim, but it said something like, if you don't have goals, I'm not interested. So I took that as a writing prompt, as one does, and I outlined my short, medium, and long-term goals in a couple of paragraphs. That's more than most people open with on Tinder, I'll give her that. But then how did you respond to all of that?
Let me just say that my bio saying like, if you don't have goals, we're probably not going to get along, was due to the people I dated before. And it was a necessary thing to say because I was not finding the right individuals. But I saw Michael's message and I honestly was like, wow, what a try hard.
Which, if I might interject, it seems a little bit useless to have a bio that says what you're looking for in your possible partner and then to be turned off by a response giving you what the bio said.
Okay, but like that was a very big intro, and something about you and your brother, me and my sister-in-law have talked about this, is these boys they just dive in very seriously. It's borderline a red flag.
Red flag, green flag, I don't know.
It was confusing, but it's one of those situations where you're like, am I being love bombed?
You were, yes.
That's not a good thing to do.
I don't really know what love bombing is.
You don't want to love bomb someone.
Well, how long did it take you to respond to my beautiful introduction?
I feel like it was just a few days because
it felt like weeks.
Because I noticed in his bio that he was an engineer and he was good at physics. So,
which she assumed. My profile did not say, hi, I'm Michael, I'm an engineer, and by the way, I'm good at physics. She inferred.
Yeah, it was something that really got me to the point where I'm like, I feel like I could use him for help.
Yeah, I was going to say, and why was my ability in physics so treasured right then?
Well, so I was in physics class for the second time because the first time I took it, there weren't wheelchair spots in front of my classroom, and then I couldn't get to class, and then they gave me a withdrawal out of it. And anyway, so I was in physics again, and I don't like physics. I'm not good at physics, and I needed help with physics. And my homework had to be done that night because the next day I was flying to Australia. So what did I do but respond to my new buddy, Michael? And I told him about my homework assignment, and he decided he would FaceTime me and help me.
I think you asked for the FaceTime because it would be easier to help with your homework.
Oh, probably. I mean, I FaceTimed, I was always on FaceTime in college. Like, somebody was always with me.
And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure you got like 100 on that homework assignment.
I mean, I'm sure I did. So I got on FaceTime with him, and I remember thinking, oh, like, he's cute. Like, he is nice. Like, he's not weird. Like, this is nice. And I left out to Australia the next morning with my mom and my aunts. We were doing a girls' trip, and Michael and I talked the whole 2 weeks that I was gone. We texted, and
Australia is like the polar opposite of Florida, apparently, because I was staying up until like 4 a.m. so I could text her in like regular, like what, the afternoon or something? I don't know. It was crazy.
He was thirsty, as we call it.
No, I was thirsty.
He really wanted a girlfriend, and that's okay.
I didn't want a girlfriend.
I wanted
a wife.
Yeah, well, here I am. The morning after Michael helped me with my homework, I was flying to Australia, and it was a 18-hour flight or something. And I was like, I have a secret. He probably doesn't know. And I need to tell him because it's really serious. And I've had a lot of experience with this secret of men not talking to me anymore. So I wrote out a long message. Well, no, I wrote, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, she sends me a text unprompted as she gets onto this flight and she says, I need to tell you something.
And I proceeded to tell him, like, hi, like, I just needed you to know that I have a disability. And I told him a little bit about my disability and said, like, I hope that's, like, okay.
Yeah, so let me reiterate that she had like 6 or 7 pictures on her Tinder profile, and I want to say at least 5 of them had her whole wheelchair in full view. The fact that she was in a wheelchair was not news to me. But the way she set it up, I was like gut-wrenching. I was like, oh man, I said something dumb. She doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. She doesn't want to meet me. No, it was that she's in a wheelchair.
And what'd you reply?
I know.
He's like, yeah, I'm aware. I'm fully aware. But I was not hiding my disability on my Tinder, but guys would not go through my photos or not use their eyeballs and like wouldn't see that I had a disability. And then I would bring it up and they would stop talking to me. So I was like, great, I FaceTimed this guy last night. I kind of liked him. And now he's not going to talk to me again. But really, he was just being very polite and waiting for the right moment to like talk about it.
Yeah, to me, I was like, I don't know what the right way to handle that is. I feel like you should, hey, what's wrong with you? You know, that's a very strange thing to do.
Oh, people say lots of strange things, but I guess you did go about it in the most respectful way. And he genuinely was like, it's not a problem. Like, it's not a thing. We'll talk about it and get through whatever. And his family was the same way too, which was really nice. I have never felt so welcomed by a significant other's family and not felt like less than because of my disability. So the secret that I thought that I had was actually not a secret, which was great news. We talked that whole time. I kept getting physics help, of course, while I was out of town. And then I was getting ready to come back and we were going to meet in person, but
the accessibility nightmare of airplanes struck again, and on the way back from Australia, which if I recall was a very chaotic trip.
My parents are flight attendants and we were flying standby, but we were flying first class, so that was good. The standby was less good. If you have ever flown standby, you understand. But we flew back from Australia to LAX. Couldn't get a flight out of LAX to get home back to Florida. So we flew the overnight flight to Mexico. And then when we got to Mexico, I got off of the airplane and guess what? My wheelchair was broken. So I had to continue on my journey to get home. So I went from Mexico to Houston and then Houston to Tampa. It was miserable. We were all delusionally tired, but we made it. And I had a broken wheelchair.
And in case you're not aware, she at the time was living alone. Well, she had roommates, but she was off to college alone and she was still transferring by herself. And if you have a broken wheelchair and you can't use your brakes, transferring is just about the most dangerous thing you could do. So we had been planning on meeting like right when she got back from Australia. But since her wheelchair was broken, she literally had to stay with her mom for, what was it, like a week, 2 weeks before you could get...
It was like a week.
A week?
Yeah. I know. Every moment away from me felt like forever for you.
It did.
So, yeah, they had bent my whole axle and broken one of my brakes off. So we were able to fix it to an extent where I could go back to my apartment, even though it wasn't perfect, while I waited for my new chair to come because they ended up totaling my chair. And that is when I needed to do another physics assignment. So what did I do with the boy off Tinder for our first date? Invited him over to my apartment.
Unconventional first date, but...
I said, and I remember I went outside to go like meet him and he walked up and I still remember like exactly what you were wearing, and you were wearing like a gray collared shirt as you frequently wore.
Oh, because I was on my way home from work, probably.
Yeah, and his jeans, and he had his backpack because he had like a work backpack with his laptop in it. And we went inside, and I said, come on in my bedroom, and we can do my physics homework in there.
I remember you were on your bed and I was like on the floor of your apartment, just like huddled up like a little creature helping you with your homework.
He was sitting on the floor leaning on my bed. I was in my wheelchair. I remember because after you finished that assignment, we had our first kiss.
Yes.
We did. And then, ready for Unconventional 2.0. So I invited Tinder Man into my apartment first date. And then we just spent the whole night together.
Yep.
So
Yep, we stayed up like all night just talking and
watching movies. We watched
Nope.
I'm not going to say what we watched. At that point, Michael was real set on marrying me.
And you would think with all of my efforts that it would have just been smooth sailing from there. But I think me being so gung-ho might have scared our girl a little bit.
Yes, I was like terrified. But at the same time, I knew that if I started dating Michael, that like that was it. And I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm like ready for this yet. So we went on a few dates. We went to the Hard Rock Casino.
Oh,
and
that's such a fun story.
yeah,
So I don't gamble like at all.
we both
Yeah,
don't.
neither of us gamble, but I basically look at it as like I feel like I'm gonna lose guaranteed. So we
It's
went.
like an arcade. Whatever you put in, I see that I'm gonna lose.
So we went in there, and I think as a joke, or maybe we were gonna leave soon or something, but I had a $20 bill, and I was like, we were sitting at the roulette table, and I said, what should I put it on? And she goes, put it on 17 for my birthday. And I put it on 17, and it literally hit straight up 17, and I think we got like $400 or something.
Yeah,
And
it was more than I've ever won at a
yeah,
casino.
it was crazy. And then I was like, let's go, because we are not going to get more than that.
And we did. And then after that, we saw each other probably a few more times. And then I was really chickening out. I was like, this is getting way too serious, way too fast. Like, I am scared. I don't know what to do. So I said, let's take some time apart. And
I was like, I hear you, but no.
And he took the money that we won from the casino, and I can't stand up. He threw it in the top of the basket in the top of my closet because I said, no, I don't want the money that we won. And he's like, well, you're taking it, and threw it.
Wait, but that wasn't in response to you not...
I mean, it was part of it.
Was
like,
it?
Yeah, it was. Like,
okay.
or maybe it was before. I said, let's take time. But anyway, he was like, no, you're taking it. Like, it was your guess, like, whatever. It was $20 for, like, our date. And so he threw it up there, and it was up there. And we wrote letters to each other, which, I'm sorry, they're in a glass bottle, and we can never open them because
No,
I can't.
I will cringe to infinity if I read those letters.
Those letters are not good. And so we took a few days.
I remember you had arbitrarily been like, 2 weeks, we'll reassess in some amount of time.
Sounds like me.
But then 3 days later, she texts me, or I think it was a text, right?
I texted him and I said, hey, like, can we talk? Like, and I said like something in a message before that was like really cringy. And it was like, I
choose you.
No, I was like, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and just know that like I've been thinking about you. And then I asked him to come over, and after that, we were just together. But I still said no to dating. I did. Yep.
Really?
We were still not together. And then Michael was still very serious about me, and it was still a little scary, but I was still okay. Then we went to Cooper's Hawk for a date. And that is the day he asked me for the third time, and I said yes to be his girlfriend.
Third time's the charm.
And then we moved in together a month later.
Okay, hear me out. That's It's crazy, but it's not as crazy as it sounds on paper because her lease was up and she was getting ready to either try to find a place to live on her own and have to start paying rent for a whole year, or I was like, I already have a condo. Just come live with me, keep a go bag, whatever. Like, you don't have to pay anything. If you hate me, just leave. I don't know.
Our parents were kind of like, I mean, either it's gonna work or it's not. So we just went for it. And was it a little adjustment period? Definitely. And then, I don't know, after that, we were just inseparable. Like, we got engaged probably not even a year later. And then we got married a year and a half after that. And we've been together 5 years. Well, married 5 years now. So it just worked. Don't recommend it. Would be very nervous for a child of mine to be doing it that way. And we lived happily ever after.
And that's our story.